Hi, my name's Nairi, this is Fly Little Birds, and today we're going to talk about toddler biting and aggression and the reasons why toddlers sometimes bite and are aggressive. So the first thing to say to you is quite common. So if you have this situation, I guess you've clicked on this video, then it's quite a common problem. And I've been a nursery owner, I was a nursery owner before doing this for 22 years, and toddlers biting was one of the main issues that we had to deal with, especially if they broke the skin on another child. So one of the key reasons why toddlers bite is they do get very tired and frustrated, and sometimes they can take that out on other children or even you because they're just tired. Toddlers often have broken night's sleep when they're cutting their back teeth. That's a big reason why they don't sleep, and so they get through the day and they go through the stage, don't they, where they're not really having that sleep anymore, that nap anymore, but they kind of need it. But then they've got to get through to tea time, and so tiredness is one main key reason. So if you can look at your routine and think about ways around that to give them that downtime, even if it's not asleep. So maybe you can give them a quiet time with, after lunch, you get some books out and then just rest for a little bit. That will really help tiredness. Okay, another one is their lack of being able to explain to you what they want. And so what they do is they just react in frustration, and they bite a child because the child has taken a toy, or they bite a child because they want that toy. They haven't even got to the point that they've asked for the toy. Or they bite you because you haven't understood what they've asked for. So because toddlers can't speak, some of them can't speak in full sentences, some of them can. So when we're saying toddler, we could be talking quite a wide age range here. We could be talking from like 12 months right up to 3.5. And in that age range, some children have got really good speech. Some of my children had amazing speech by the time they were 2. They could definitely tell me what they wanted. But I've come across lots of children that don't have good speech and cannot tell you what they want. And some children will then kind of mistake trying to communicate with biting. And even though you think that a toddler might understand they're hurting someone, they only know that because of your reaction. A lot of them don't internalize that, and a lot of them don't. And I know some parents go and then start biting their children. I don't suggest you do that. It's not really going to get you anywhere. It's just going to surprise them that you have done that. I don't advocate doing that because, again, they're not really ready to internalize what they're actually doing. That's the truth of the matter. So communication is a big thing that I've studied and researched, and that's, a big reason. So that's number 2. Number 3 is that they are seeing other children do it. So they might see other children getting what they want through aggression or biting. So they might be looking at a sibling in your home that's quite a dominant sibling, and they are getting their own way a lot, and they're being able to kind of manipulate you. And the toddler's like, do you know what? They're getting what they want, and they're getting, this is how they're getting it. So I'm just going to bite or be aggressive and copy some behaviours. And that might be at nursery as well. And if I do that, then I'll get what I want as well. And another big one, probably another key one, is those cutting of those back teeth. So when we have babies, we're quite happy for them to chew on things, aren't we? Rattles and stuff like that. But when you see toddlers that are going into like 12 months, 18 months, people say, oh, don't put that in your mouth. Don't put that in your mouth. Oh, no, don't. That's dirty. But children learn through their mouths a lot. Babies learn loads of things through their mouth and through taste and texture, but toddlers do as well. But actually toddlers still have this issue where they're cutting their back teeth and they really want to press down on something, and if they don't have toys available to do that, then they might well find an arm or a leg, and it's not great because they can bite really when they're teething and they go to bite someone, then they can really hurt. But what you can find though is if your toddler is doing it for that reason, when they stop teething, they will probably stop the biting because they're doing it for that reason. So that's a good thing in a way. So how can you overcome the biting? Well, I've already suggested tiredness is a big one. So find ways of trying to get around that in your routine. I was actually in a situation with one of my children where I was running the business, which was nurseries, ironically, and one of mine was biting a lot and becoming quite a problem. And actually I discussed it with the manager, and she said he's too tired. The days are too long for him. And so with the tail between my leg, being told by my own manager that I was employing that actually my child was struggling, I had to kind of reduce some hours actually. So I'm not saying you have to do anything drastic, but I'm saying look at your routine. As far as communication is concerned, then you can sometimes get picture books that will go through get ones that say kind hands. I'm sure there are going to be ones out there about biting and being kind to people. So you can try that, but it depends on the age of your child whether they're going to get that. The other thing you can do is get visuals or make visuals that show teeth and mouths and things and say, we don't do that. We're not biting. It might be that you have to create that visual yourself, or you might be able to go and get it. If I can find anything, I will link it in the description below. I haven't looked yet, but if I can, I will. Sometimes you're just going to have to be patient and know that it's going to pass, because once your child gets the words, to be able to explain what they want as well, then things are going to improve. So try to work on their language and their communication. Try to get eye contact from them. When you see they're building up, getting frustrated, try to get them to make eye contact and explain to you what it is they want in whatever way. You can do that. It may be symbolism, it may be using your hands, it may be using, pictures, it may not be by words, but try to get them to express what it is they want. Obviously, if you're in a situation where you can see there's lots of children around and your child's getting frustrated, I wouldn't wait for it to happen. I would just withdraw them. You can try kind of time out. Time out doesn't really work that well with this age children. If I'm honest with you, it might work with older children that know they've done something wrong. But this is the thing, your toddler's not really going to know they've done something wrong if they're a toddler. They're just going to know that what they've done's had an impact. But they're not really going to know this. So time out can work, but rarely. And so really to try and distract and get them away from the situation as quickly as possible if you're there. So if you're on a toddler group and you're there and you can see that there is some interactions going on with a group of children and that your child is getting more frustrated, then it's best to withdraw. It's not best to kind of try to deal with it as it happens. It's best to distract and withdraw them before it does happen. So some of us are dealing with children that have been through childhood trauma, and biting then can feature in a completely different way from what I've been talking about. I've been trying to explain to you sort of normal developmental situations with biting, but when it comes to childhood trauma, if you find that a child of 4 is still regularly biting, aggressively biting, it's much more than just developmental. It's basically outplaying maybe what they've seen, how they feel, the anger, the frustration, their fear, and that is more of a therapeutic need for that child, whereas this video has been more about, your everyday biters. I hope you find it helpful. Please subscribe if you have. Please look at my channel. My channel has a lot on it about adoption and fostering, but there are also general parenting tips on there. So I hope you've enjoyed watching Fly Little Birds. Thank you.